Hello. I have a question, and it's directed at Ray, but I'd like everyone to answer. I work in the arts industry, specifically in the film industry. And over the past year, I have seen a great decline in the number of productions being carried out in the city and in the province. And I've also seen the beginning of a drain of young talent to other provinces. There are numerous reasons for this. One is an alteration in the tax credit for film that's recently been passed. Winnipeg is much more attractive. Alberta, the Maritimes, much more attractive. We used to be a center for film, and I'd like to know what concrete solutions you have to keep the arts, not just film, but also the arts, in Saskatchewan. That's my question.
Thank you for that question. Let me just bounce that back off you. You're asking what needs to be done to keep the arts in Saskatchewan?
I'm asking for what concrete measures, what specifics would you like to implement to keep the arts here? Not just rhetorical dodges,
No.
but specifics.
When the government put in assistance for film and the film industry, part of it was that it was produced in Canada. And to the best of my knowledge, Heritage Canada has looked at that program, and from what I've been given to understand, that program will be beefed up and enhanced so that specific dollars will come to producers, directors of film and I believe audio as well, in terms of new dollars for productions that have been shortened up. Yeah.
We've seen quite the opposite. We've seen a decrease.
Right.
And it's a dying industry, and that's unfortunate.
It's almost a catch-22. The dollar shrinks, so the production shrinks. You know, and around and around we go. So hopefully, hopefully we want to increase the dollars so the production can therefore get back up to where it was.
Is there anything for Saskatchewan specifically that you can suggest?
Saskatchewan had. I'm trying to think of the terminology. It's a Western night that was held in Ottawa this past month that featured, you know, musical numbers, literary numbers. Pardon?
Funding is what I meant.
Yeah, it was all in, well, I'm talking about that. That was all in Ottawa, and that was all funded by the federal government. That funding is supposed to come back down into the province again to help them continue to grow their arts program. It's of interest to note that specific dollars have been set aside for little tykes so that they can get involved in arts programs and parents can be alleviated of some of those registration costs. So we're working at it.
The unfortunate thing is when they get to my position, they leave.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we can make it enticing enough to keep you here.
Hopefully so.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't get your name? Tyler. I think many people I know in Regina were formerly employed in the film industry in this city. Some of them were employed at SCN. And I think it was a travesty provincially that the provincial government sold SCN was a real linchpin for a lot of young producers and artists aspiring in the film industry, and it's a real shame that that's gone. And I opposed that at the time, so I'm walking my talk on that position. I think when we're talking about the arts, we have to view it not only on the bare dollars and cents that some of the other parties do, but as an essential part of our culture and our national ethos. And that means strengthening our cultural institutions. We should be expanding the role of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation to assist local artists, to assist local production of films. We should be strengthening our Canadian content rules to make sure that our television stations and broadcasters are putting Canadian content first in all circumstances in prime time, not just so we can see a move away from the cuts, a move away from the hollowing out of our arts industry, and make sure that it's domestic here. And I also, for that matter, would provincially support, obviously it's not federal jurisdiction, the reinstitution of that provincial tax credit that made Regina a real leader in film production in North America. And it's a shame that that is pretty much hollowed out, and you can see a tumbleweed going through our film industry in Regina. So let's strengthen our cultural institutions, let's strengthen the CBC, let's expand the CBC, and let's make sure that the arts are taken seriously as a priority in this country.
Regardless of the amount of funding that the federal government puts through, whether it's a liberal government or conservative government, whether it diminishes or it wanes, the simple fact of the matter is that other provincial jurisdictions have just upped their game. They've come to the plate, whether there's...
But our game has decreased at the same time. We've made it less attractive to come here. Perhaps the others are more attractive, but I'm concerned with Saskatchewan. We're less attractive than we were, and we're losing for it.
Okay, and I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it, and I'm by no means, but I'm struggling for a couple of weeks here because I have a lot of people coming through the door in Moose Jaw with issues that are provincial in nature.
Yeah.
But the simple fact of the matter is there a special program to come to the rescue of Saskatchewan arts? I would suggest that wouldn't even be a fair question to ask. Proportionally, the money is given out, the provincial governments come to the plate, and they've, like I say, they've upped their game. So really, quite frankly, I think it's elected officials in a different building.
I guess my question for you would then be, what is your party or your stand on the arts and the importance of the arts in Canadian society?
Oh, it is vital. That's a given with the Liberal government. It is vital.
What would you do to back up that claim?
Well, we can sustain the levels of funding that we've historically, not now, but we've historically Liberals had. As has been said, put the onus on the fact that the arts are integral to our Canadian society and our identity. Continue with investments in fixed plant and fixed structures and whatnot, as well as a continuation of the programs that are in place, and I believe they still do remain in place when it comes to funding arts and entertainment and Canadian productions and whatnot.
Thank you very much for your question. I have over a page of policy from Vision Green. I'm actually just going to give it to you so that you can read it later, because I won't get it out in my amount of airtime, and I have plenty more to say about the arts. Not too many people know this, some do. Since the last election, one thing I have started doing again is I've gone back to pursue my career as a dancer, choreographer, the works. I trained most of my childhood and my teenage years to be a dancer. I quit when I was 17 because I had to leave my province to go to Edmonton, the closest pre-professional ballet program, and I was homesick, horribly homesick, and I came back to Saskatchewan and thought, if I have to leave my home province to be an artist, I can't do it. So I took off for 10 years, did other things. Politics was one of them, if you need a hint. But finally, I went back because the high level of stress in university demands that I engage in my art form, and it instantly improved my health, my passion for life. I have energy right now because I dance 25 hours a week. I definitely, it's a main pillar of my life. The thing that frustrates me is that every day I hear from one of the younger girls that I dance with who's 18 that their parents are putting pressure on them to quit dancing and to become a doctor or a lawyer. It takes every bit as much dedication to become a dancer, an artist in any field, including film, as it does to become a lawyer or a doctor. But the subsidization, the money, is not going to the arts. It should be. And Saskatchewan, instead of experiencing drain of our artists leaving, we are perfectly positioned here to become a mecca for Saskatchewan artists. That is where we should be today.